Hi, YouTube. I have a really novel idea. How about the National Guard goes to the ports and works as dock workers? All the trucks are lined up, they're sitting there. They can load the trucks and take the goods to the department stores or the stores, outlet stores where they need to be, or day labor. I mean, I've ran more than one business and worked for a great big apartment complex as their assistant manager, um, and my own businesses. If I can run a business, why the hell can't our government? Why is Biden sitting on his hands in this situation? Seems to me if they can send the National Guard into Vermont to take those students to school and work as bus drivers, is there any reason why they can't work as dock workers? I mean, hell, there's people out on the streets every day begging for day labor so they can go buy their next beer or food or whatever it may be. I mean, they want the illegals, the Democrats do in this country too. Take the illegals there and put them to work. I mean, they're going to put them in cages anyway. Why not make a tent city right by the docks? Hey, unload these. We feed you and take care of you until we get your papers in order and send you back to your own country that has more riches, actually, than the United States if they wanted to gather their strengths and uh, goods and mind their own country, like the United States is being raped. Uh, that bad choice of words. Pillaged, maimed, um, and terrorized. This is all a bunch of hooey. We all know it. It's time that we start screaming like, hey, not only are we not going to do your mandates, we're not buying your contrived uh, trying to bring down the economy. That's not, we're not buying it. Well, evidently, we're not buying anything as far as they're concerned. They'd rather give us gruel in a bowl. That's their hopes, you know? So, yeah, just a moment. But I thought I bring that to everybody's attention. I mean, this there the United States is a corporation. Uh DC is independent of that corporation, and these are the people that say they're leading our country. If you are leading our country as a business and you truly are a business person and you love the people of your country, you would say to yourself, gee, I have ideas to make this go around. We could bus people in from all over the United States. I mean, just put up a ad. Dock workers needed. Free food, daily pay, or if not that, the National Guard. That's what they're trained for. Or do we only train them to aim and shoot and drive children around? Is it more important to drive a child to school for their indoctrination, or is it more important for Harry, Sally, and their baby to have something to eat tomorrow, or even for that baby to have a Christmas gift or a birthday gift or a pair of shoes? What's more important? Is it more important to get what I would call in term, and here goes, oh, I'm saying it, some little brats, because they're going to be brats if they're raised in that system and don't have a mind to realize what's happening to them. Yeah, they're going to be like the rest of them out there, ignorant little punks. And you know it, and I know it's true. There's no reason why our economy has to collapse. We bailed the banks out too many times and so many times. and what they're doing to people and what their wishes are, that we own nothing. And there's enough land in the world for everybody to have enough land to garden and feed themselves and live off the land and fish, and all these licenses and all this bullshit and all the taxes. It's come on, we all know it's bullshit. This isn't life. This is hell. You know, really, it's hell. You know it. So, I mean, if little old me can figure this out with the day labor or the National Guard, the Army, the Navy, even the Air Force, I mean, these are our paid officials. How about Congress? Maybe they want to put in a couple hours each unloading some cargo because they love us so much. I mean, we pay them. If they can't figure out a way to empty them ports and get them ships coming and going again, what good are they? What do you need them for? What are you paying them for? Are you paying them to see your neighbors starve? I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm always gonna be okay. But there's people that won't be. And just the thought of one child or older person or anybody going without things they need is sickening. It's inhuman, unhuman, and it's draconian. So, I think it's time that they step up and do the right thing. I don't see that the American people are going to roll over for this. I think the harder things get, we'll find a way to push back on them, and eliminating the people that are in office now that are not and cannot do their job. Maybe it's time that people literally do overthrow their government, our government, and elect people that have God in their hearts, that are going to truly care about the whole world. You know, feed everybody, eliminate wars. There's so many houses sitting empty. There's so many cars that aren't being bought. New ones on the ship that they want to sell. People are waiting for brand new cars, and they aren't going to get their cars. Oh, breaks my heart. Not. What breaks my heart is the little kid that needs a pair of boots for winter that isn't going to get them boots. Now that's heartbreaking. Or needs some kind of nutrition that they're not going to get, you know? So, I mean, these are not only things that we have to think about, we have to push on these jerks. We need to get out here like I'm doing and make them realize that we're not buying it. I mean, for instance, it isn't even controversy. There's nothing to even talk about here. They should be put into action right now, today. There's no reason a month later or 6 or 8 weeks later that any ship should be sitting in a harbor. I mean, there's truck drivers making videos right and left all over the place now, and they're kind of shadow banned. But their trucks are available. There's not a shortage of truckers. They're going to raise the gas prices, which they're already doing little by little, and the food prices. This is all contrived. And there is no reason for it beside their greed. And they're trying to, what they were talking about in the UN is what they call uh, the New World, or how did they word it? They worded it just a moment. Well, yeah, the New World Order, but they had another word for how they were wording it to usher in like a new economy for their Bitcoin and whatever. I hate to tell them, but there's probably the majority of us out here that are not going to be dealing in Bitcoin. We'll go way back old fashioned and we'll eliminate the government. If they want to play games, they're playing with the wrong people. And Americans aren't going to stand for this or sit for this. And I think there's a lot more of us out here that actually feel that way. So if you have a good reason that the National Guard shouldn't be unloading them ships, would you tell me? Is there a good reason why day laborers all over the United States, men and women looking for work right now, every day, can't be unloading them ships down at the dock as dock workers? Even if it's the National Guard coming in and supplying the food for the workers, there's people that will go and work just for the food. And some people I know that work for free as volunteers. I bet if they put an ad in the papers and had it out there on the internet all over, um, who would volunteer to work at the docks? You'd probably be surprised how many people would show up just to get the goods to the other people in the world. Yeah, I believe in humankind like that, you know? I don't necessarily trust them on a one on one basis in my life because I know if they're personally sent into my life that they're going to be used as a tool. They always are. And some of you know where I'm coming from like that. Yeah. And you're probably a lot quieter about it than I am, but I don't take kindly to it, you know. But so there's a solution for this. Don't buy it. Don't buy into anything there. If you trust your government, I'm telling you what, e- here goes. Don't hate me. You got some screws loose, or let me put this more delicately. You haven't been run through the mill with their gamut of baloney for the decades that I haven't seen this play over and over and over again. And I'll take this into the even into the scriptures. Do you know how many times they have used the scriptures to play the same scenario out? How many generations and decades that they've used it? Like, oh, you got to be a nice person. If you say anything to anybody, God's going to condemn you. They don't believe in the book of Revelation. They wrote it, but God's making it true. There's a time that separation is here, you know. The people of the world will stand up against these monsters, and there's only a handful of them, and they need to be put in their place. And their place is not being paid by the people of the world to be abused so they can have gains and you have nothing. That's the way they want it. They are not going to get their way. Mark my words. Not the mark of the beast. Mark my words, the mark of the Christian, you know, the mark of the God loving, the God fearing, the God believing, the human loving species, the one that belongs on this planet, you know. Oh, here's another thing too. The term Elohim means doesn't mean that they're God or even fallen angels or anything. It just means beyond the veil. It means the ability to realize that our world is connected to God's world in that respect. And you see beyond the veil, when the veil is lifted, you'll realize that there is no separation. That's what Elohim means. And El, the Almighty God, well, beyond the veil, that's when you realize that we are not God, but we are connected to Him. You know, we're not Him living an expression of himself in a no, he made us each person individual. It's the people, the internet of people that they want us all connected electronically to each other in a supercomputer, trying to cool down the earth for their computers to run. When you know the core of the earth is as hot as the sun, and then they wonder how volcanoes can erupt and whatnot. It's a continuous belt of magma that goes around the world, whether it's going this way flat or it doesn't matter. My point is the friction that's created that's a continuous. The lava comes out, particles fall back in, they burn, they form, they come the pressure, and it comes back out again. It's a continuous. It's as bright as the sun in the middle of the earth and the warmth of that. So, if you think of the earth as a star just like the sun, then think about the sun. Maybe the sun's cool in the middle of it. Maybe what we see, and it will never diminish because it's got the same thing going on, only inside out. There's solid in there, like the iron, like the magma is on the outside, and it's eating the particles from the inside, and then it falls back in and forms the solid, and it's a continuous thing. These that's a theory, but these scientists think they're so flippin' brilliant, but they really don't use their minds in any way of physics. They think they know physics, but they really kind of don't. These are the kids like you get them on a teeter totter and they really don't know the physics of the teeter totter. Um, or I saw one that was on a wheel in this guy, and it had like four different areas on this wheel that were boards, and he'd stop it in one spot and a kid would get on there and hang on and sit. He'd stop it again, and then by the time the fourth kid got on there, the inertia of the wheel with the weight of the children, were all pretty relatively the same size, would keep that mechanism going. That type of inertia with there was no like thrusting force. It was a continuous, like the cogs on a wheel, or like the coils of a Tesla invention, that one compressed coil, one spark could ignite enough energy to keep what would it be? It would be just a minute. Just a minute. I got it. I'm gonna light this cigarette. Then I'll kind of I got a little distracted with my washing machine. Just a second here. Um. There's people that have invented motors that have a coil on it, and the coil is the thing that ignites, like your spark plug in your motor from your car. It ignites the gas in the head on the top of your motor. Well, there is an invention that Tesla had actually invented that not only ignites this motor, but it keeps it running continuously. Once it's ignited, the generating electricity that it has is ongoing and never ending. You can take a motor this big, like a 10-pound motor, with this invention and electronics set. There's a guy in Africa and like another guy in New Zealand. One Gerald Moran, I think he's originally from Lithuania, but he moved to Canada and then to the United States, and they're trying to squelch his. They came in, the FBI, about 12 years ago, and he spent some time in prison because he went against what the authorities said he could do. invented these motors that will a 10-pound motor to generate a whole city. Can you imagine that? A city of about 10,000 people with one spark of energy and continuous free energy for the whole city. There's no reason things like that can't be around the whole world. And it's time that we stand up as people and say, look, we know that you have, and they stole his patents too. They made it so he couldn't reproduce what he had created, and he had thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars into his work. Look him up, Gerald Moran. You know, you'll be surprised. It's horrible what they do to people, and I'm not sitting still. And I'm gonna cut this off. I got some building to do today after I get my laundry done, but just spread the word. There's no reason why the National Guard or day labor cannot work as dock workers and take care of the needs of the people until those positions are filled. Now, they say there's a shortage of dock workers. I don't even buy that. I would say maybe forced mandates in certain states. But once again, like Sean Baker, MD, and his family are down in the Keys, like Key Biscayne right now, um, in Florida, has the lowest flu statistics in the United States with no mandates and no mask baloney and the rest of all this. And they're liars, and he's gotten together with other doctors and their spouses and other medical professionals, and the statistics are being fudged and we are being lied to in many ways like you wouldn't believe. And one thing connects to the other in their schemes and all their baloney. So try and get the word out. You know, we see what the government's doing, and we're not going to sit still and just be quiet about it. And no, we're not going to be hooked up to your machines, and you are not going to bully us and push us around. And that's the way that's going to go. So, God be with everybody. Spread the word, people. I love you. Have a nice day.